Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes. You look like I feel.
Election night, baby. Just
Yeah.
want to let everybody know Trump done took Kentucky.
Oh,
But
I'm not surprised. Are you?
hell no. Kamala got let me tell you something. Civil
Kamala, wait. Kamala got what?
Vermont.
Okay. All right.
Right
Whoa.
now, Kamala's down 8-3 on the road to 270.
Come on.
On the road to 270, hey, look, I will never forget the first time I voted. And I think this is the reason why I didn't vote the next time. This is the Al Gore hanging Chad thing.
Uh-huh.
And I was
From
here in
2000.
Georgia. And I went to the poll at like 6:55, right?
PM.
PM.
So you're in line, so they have to let you vote.
Right. And this is back in 2000, right? And I voted for Al Gore. And I drove home, which was like a 5-minute drive. Walk in my house. Georgia goes to George Bush. Wait a minute.
What the
Wait a minute. I was like, hold on. I just voted 5 minutes ago. How dare y'all disrespect my vote like that? I was like, you didn't even give my vote a chance to marinate, and y'all giving it to George W. Bush. I
There
didn't
was
like
a
that at all. I was
lesson
hot.
in political science and civics 101, huh?
I was hot, Sybil. I was like,
I bet you
my
were.
vote doesn't count.
Yeah,
My vote
right.
obviously doesn't count
Yeah.
because look what just
Because
happened.
I was just there, and then I did the thing, and
They
then
didn't count my vote.
and it
They
said
haven't even got to my vote to count it yet.
I'm with Al, and then they said no, Georgia goes with George.
I was like, give me a second to enjoy my voting. Jesus. My first time. I was like, I feel like
See,
you.
like a lot of our first times, man.
Yeah.
Damon, how you doing?
Rushed and
Hey, how are you guys?
Welcome to Election Central. How are you?
I'm fully entrenched. Yeah, a different backdrop because I'm watching as we speak. Everything is on.
yep. I'm there too. My eyes will be moving all over the place today, so don't mind me. Come on, Indiana. Let's go. What happened?
Yeah, polls are closing as the show started. So,
Right.
and as Med it just gave us the initial update. Donald Trump has won Mitch McConnellville, also
Yes,
known
Kentucky.
as Kentucky, and Kamala Harris has won Bernieville, known as Vermont. So,
Vermont.
yes, so but that's okay. That's okay. Looking at some of the returns from Florida, she's leading in Florida right now, and but it's still early. As we know, these things the early returns really don't mean much of anything. In Texas, we're not so much concentrating on the state for Kamala Harris or for Donald Trump. We're more concerned about the Senate vote and what that looks like for Cruz versus Allred.
Yeah, Cruz.
And
Yeah.
a lot of concern about that because a lot of people really don't. I didn't realize how many people did not like Cruz until this election. I always thought it was just me and a couple of others. You know, we have our quiet little meetings in a phone booth. But a lot of people do not like Ted Cruz. So it's going to be interesting to see how.
Who does like Ted Cruz is the question.
I'm sorry.
The question is who does like him. That would be
I'm not even sure if the women in his house like him.
Look, I think Ted Cruz, like over the last 4 years, has just done himself disservice after disservice, especially with the disasters that be happening in Texas, and
Yeah.
he gets about a dodge to make sure he
Yeah.
doesn't have to deal with it
Yeah.
in person. So I think he lost people when his family went on a vacation when
And he
everybody was out of
joined them.
power.
Yeah, because
He
my
was,
daughter asked me to. Well, sometimes, baby girl, you gotta say no.
yeah. I think he lost his state at that point, but we'll see because some people don't give a damn about that. It's like he's red. I gotta vote for him.
But here's the other thing about it, Med. He lost a lot of women, not because of the horrific situation during the winter pandemic that we had, but also because of the ability to encourage abortion rights to be denied to women here, and that I think that's going to be a key to a lot of states going for the vice president because this is so real, and the lives that have been lost in Texas. You know, we have white women who are the face of reproductive rights. And so that has gone a very long way. And I'm not taking away from the Black women that have died as a result of this, especially in states like Georgia. But in Texas, if it looks like these little white girls, quite honestly, that are, your next door neighbor or whatever, or your daughter, then it's starting to have an effect. And I think that will play a part in it too. Donald Trump is also projected to win Indiana, according to this, man.
Yep. Yeah, I see this.
Yeah.
Indiana projected winner, difference of 109,000, 15% in.
Well, no surprise there because
no surprise there. I mean, like, you're going to see the states that they're supposed to win. They're going to be popping up first. It's when you get to the Michigans, the North Carolinas,
sure. Yeah, the blockbuster states, the 7 states, are going to pose the biggest amount of interest for the night. You were going to say what, Damon?
As far as Indiana goes, I mean, outside of Indianapolis and Gary, it's rural, redneck. It's the founding base of the Klan.
Yeah.
So it's no big surprise there, and it's just not enough Black people throughout that state to overtake the red hats. So
right.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in Georgia. It's similar to Georgia, how, but they don't have a city like you said, Damon, that like Atlanta, where Atlanta is so damn blue that it can overwhelm the rest of the state. Like but
hey, they got Gary. They got Indianapolis.
Yeah, not Black people, like Damon said.
Yeah, you're not gonna find too many in Kokomo or South, Lafayette. It's not gonna happen for them. But you never know if white people in those places have been fed up with this scenario. I'm just really surprised that any women, that were formerly Republican but that were on the fence, couldn't fall off the fence after between the reproductive rights and then his blatant attack on women and how he called her a sleaze bag. That's not political. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
The other night he tried to call her the B word, and he was, just teasing it. And what was it last night? His vice president, said we're going to take out the trash and send Kamala back, and it's like,
yeah,
how do you allow that? Oh, he's so crazy. Yeah, okay. Let's see how crazy it is.
He was performing fellatio on a mic stand,
and then there's that.
That.
And then there's that.
I'm looking at it. I'm just like,
is he real?
I'm like, all right, this is your guy. This is y'all guy.
Yeah. How about all you religious writers there? Yeah.
Look here, the religious writers. Hey, let's Paula White out here praying hard.
Oh my God.
For her guy. So it is what it is.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, as we are talking about the election today and about the newsletter. And the newsletter, of course, is our What You Need to Know newsletter, in which we talk about events of the day as well as things that are going on around the country and around our world. If you'd like to subscribe to the newsletter, we'd love to have you. It's absolutely free. Please go to SybilWilkes.com. Give us your name and your email address. We'll have it in your email box every Monday through Friday. And all that we ask from you is that you open it and get a load of the great stories that we have. And we started out today's newsletter with a tribute to Quincy Jones. And the question that I wanted to ask you guys, had either of you, and Damon, you've done shows with so many people and been around. Did you ever come in contact with Mr. Jones?
I absolutely did. He came through Chicago to B103 radio station. I was there with George, John, and Bonnie. And he was with Brenda Ritchie.
Oh my gosh.
Ex-wife, and they were touring the country with Tamia, this new artist they were introducing.
Right.
So anytime we had special guests at the station, I would always make my way down there, and I had a chance to make it back there and meet Tamia, and she was outstanding at the time. Her and Brenda both had on these like mini skirts, and it looked like they were like warrior princesses because they had been working out or something. It was, and Tamia still wears short things to reveal her thighs and calves.
Mhm.
But even Brenda, I said, okay, now I understand why she kicked Lionel in the stomach.
Okay.
She, no disrespect to Lionel because he's such a nice guy when you meet him. But Mr. Jones was with them, and they had him in a secluded area, and I got a chance to go back there, and he gave me some encouraging words, and he signed a 8x10 glossy back then.
Is
Yeah,
that right?
it's
Wow.
on social media posting. He said to Damon Williams, "Do it, bro," and encouraged me to go on with my game. So, but the music, of course, is so outstanding in so many different genres that have touched, us all personally.
Right. Yeah. We talked about that last night. Do you have any standout Quincy Jones songs that hit you in a special way?
Yeah, well, he produced the entire Brothers Johnson's first album,
Mm-hmm.
which was the Strawberry Lady 23.
Uh-huh.
Tomorrow was on there before Tevin did it. The Accused Juke Joint with the Secret Garden. Of course, that was my 80s stroll when I was a bachelor living in the high rise. All them crooners on that song. So that was awesome. But the Sanford and the Son and the Wiz, and you can just go on
Yeah.
and on with Quincy stuff.
Yeah. And the Color Purple for me, the soundtrack from that, but also the Tamia, just that's still one of my favorites that you mentioned.
Yeah.
What about you there, Med?
For me, it starts with ends when, well, not starts and ends, but starts with Michael Jackson, because I was a kid, when Thriller came out and things of that nature, and that's when I kind of first saw him. You know what I'm saying? You see all the videos and you see all the things, and We Are the World. Like that's when I really got into like the music. But he was very essential in the beginning of my, kind of getting into music. When I was 5, 6, 7, I was seeing this man with Michael Jackson. I was seeing this man with Lionel Richie, Stevie Wonder, with We Are the World. But that was my introduction to him. But I was very young when I didn't know who and what he was. Older, the older you get. Even now, I'm learning things about him. When I saw songs he was doing in 1963, I'm like,
Right. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell was he doing in 1963? I'm like, was he allowed to make music in 1963? I was like, what's going on? The man had 80 Grammy nominations. That's insane. Won 23 times. You know what I'm saying? So Quincy Jones is we're never gonna see anybody like that again. Because the way he did music, he wasn't he was like orchestra. He was a musician.
We
don't see that.
Called him the musician's musician.
He is.
Frank
Seinatra. You know what I'm saying?
Sir.
It's absolutely insane. Where people will use computers and Serato and all these other stuff to create sounds. No, he got the instruments. He got the orchestra. He put the whole thing together. The funny story that I heard that I didn't know recently was somebody when somebody was asking him about what Michael, like notes that Michael was sending him about the songs, and he was like, yeah, Mike asked me to take the violins out of Can't Stop Till You Get Enough, and I was at the violins, and then he said, I was like, he's like, Mike said, yeah, that's throwing off my groove. And he's like, and he said, what do you say to him? He's like, hell no, I'm not taking that out. That's when you hear the song, that is the essential part of the intro. So no, that's not coming out. And obviously it stayed in there because the guy asked him like, what happened? Well, you hear it. Because it needed to be in there. But yeah, Mike did not want that violin sound.
But Quincy Jones was the one person that could tell him.
Heck no. No, we're not doing that, Mike. We're not doing that. I know what I'm doing.
I heard a fortunate Quincy and Michael story, and Quincy told this in an interview that after those 3 albums, after Bad, Michael wanted to go a different route, and he didn't realize that Quincy was still on a 3-way call, and he said, "Yeah, we're going to blow Quincy off on this next album." And Quincy heard it and told the story, and that's how he ended up producing with Teddy Riley. And that album was cool, but it wasn't a Quincy album,
No.
and that's what you get. How do you not see it with Quincy? Right? Yeah, Dangerous.
Wow. Yeah, that new technology will get folks every time, won't it?
Yep.
Yeah, I was also at the after party that Debbie Allen and Norm Nixon had when Quincy Jones received his Oscar.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and so Michael Collier got me in because Michael was so plugged in Hollywood. It was so crazy too because at the time the heavyweight champion of the world was from here, Chicago. His name was Oliver McCall, and on a fluke he had won the belt, and he couldn't even get in the party. It was so exclusive, and he had won the belt. He was like, "I have my championship belt." They were like, "Yeah, well, you ain't on this list. You're not getting in." I'm talking everybody was there. Denzel. That's where that happened when Denzel snubbed me. De Niro, Christopher Walken, Debbie Allen, Leroy from Fame, the black guy from Magna PI. It was crazy. Wesley Snipes. It was
Wow.
everybody came out to celebrate Quincy. And shouts out to Michael Collier for getting me and George Wilborn in that party. But to be in
Wow.
that's the type of magnitude he had. Everybody who was everybody was there.
That's incredible. That's incredible. That was, the kind of life that he led. But as I've been saying over the last couple of days in this, for all that he did, for all of the accolades, for all of the firsts and the friendships and the businesses and the business relationships, his most favorite was to be the father of his 7 children.
Yep.
And you two as dads can recognize that, and the love that poured out from their statement about their father, and even he would send birthday greetings to his kids on Instagram, and it was always very special and heartfelt. So, but he was, and I was telling somebody last night that when we do those interviews with people on the Jordan Show, it was always very early in the morning, and so you couldn't always get people on the West Coast for those. But he was from time to time would come on if he was producing something or involved with something that was very important to him, and he always would refer to me as baby girl or baby. And you're a grown a woman, and Quincy Jones calls you baby. What you gonna do? Just say yes, sir. But just a really genuine, and he's one of those old cats that from that era that just took his friendships very seriously, and his mentorship. Will Smith talked about that too, um, and how he mentored him and was his wings until he was able to grow his own and fly.
Will Smith's story about how the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air came about with Quincy at the party at Quincy's house,
House, yeah.
and whenever Will tells, I think it's one of the best stories where he's like, Will. This is like when Will was like had no money. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? He was bankrupt after winning his
Yeah, he
Grammy.
had the tax problems and all that
Yeah,
kind of
he was
stuff.
going through it, and so he at Quincy's house, and Quincy's like, "All right, audition now in front of everybody." Will's like, "Hey, I can't audition now." He's like, I got heads of NBC, I got heads of people. Oh, they're right here, right now.
Go.
You want to wait and until they're not here, or do you want to go right now?
Yeah.
And Will's like, all right, just give me a second. And he auditioned, did his thing, and that was the beginning of the
Yeah.
president. Don't we have a star here? We have a star here. Like Quincy was that guy.
Yeah, he was the hype man and everything. Yeah.
It was
And
like
how,
at the end of the day, it was happening, but he needed Will to show like, yo, you can't be afraid of the moment.
That's right. And he stepped into it.
you can't afford not to do this with your broke ass. Get in there.
Get in.
Wow, these people, why they all together, man?
He said,
Okay.
hey, look, hey, can we do this next week? Can we do this next week? We're here right now. What are you talking about?
That's
You
right.
better perform.
He was lucky to be at that party if he was going through it.
Okay. Okay. He could have been on another list, and which would not
Exactly.
have gotten him anywhere. So that we talk about, of course, Quincy Delight Jones Jr. in the
Chicago.
news,
Yep,
Chicago's
Southside.
own, yeah, born on the South Side, and got into some stuff out there. And his daddy said, "Okay, it's time to move you boys to the West Coast," and that's where he discovered his love of music and his friendship with Ray Charles at 14 and 16, respectively. Um, And that's in the newsletter. So check that out. And let's move on to the question of the day. What's really going on this election day? Just want you all to think about this, and for everybody to try to make it as easy as possible. No more than 4 or 5 words. 4 or 5 words. No more than that. How do you feel on this election day? And I'll go first. Just to give you an idea. I'm feeling proud, encouraged, and exhausted. 5 words. Feeling proud, encouraged, and exhausted. So that is what we would like for people to call in and share their feelings, because this is a day, I don't know if you guys will agree with this, but this reminds me a lot of 2008, in November 2008. And the night that Barack Obama, the weather not the same, not as balmy as it was that night in Chicago at Grant Park, and the results came in that night. I don't expect that they will tonight. Do you, Med?
I don't know. I thought I remember last time we talked about this, Sybil. I said 3 days, kind of like last time.
Mm-hmm.
But talking to people today, I don't know. I'm hearing tonight. I'm hearing tomorrow morning. I'm hearing it's not gonna be close. It's like it's a lot of different feelings right now, but it's I'll say tomorrow. I'll say we'll know tomorrow.
Yeah.
For my sake, I'm hoping tomorrow for the morning. I'm really hoping. Actually, I want it to be done tonight. I'm really hoping for my sake and my job. I'm hoping it's done tonight.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. So folks that are watching and listening, how are you feeling today? 4 or 5 words, no more than 5 words. How are you feeling today? So we'll open that up and give you guys an opportunity. Do you remember that day that Barack Obama was elected? Either one of you?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So were you all there?
I think we were all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was there that night. I remember because I was in the media area. I think for me, it was just seeing the amount of people there. The amount of people. It was just a sea of people. I remember Tom. I think that was the first time I met Tom Joyner. Mm-hmm. So like he was interviewing some people. I remember seeing I know not a lot of people are gonna know this name, Kenny Mayne from Sports Center. Sure. I remember meeting him. He wanted me to do a skit with him that they were trying to record for. I was like, this is nuts. And then also it was just so much going on. I remember interviewing Omarosa.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry.
That was the beginning. I realized I hated her. I'm sorry. Didn't like her because her attitude was stank that day. And then I remember the announcement of him winning and the emotion, the cheering, and then the family to come out. That was probably one of the best nights of my life, because it was just so much to take in. I have so many conversations that I recorded that night that I look back on every once in a while. But I was talking to regular people, I was talking to celebrities, I was talking to everybody that night, and was using it for the air the next day. And it was an electric night that night. Yeah. That thing was amazing.
I think if the votes come in tonight and an announcement is made and in the hopes of the one that we want, I think it's going to be that kind of thing on the campus of Howard.
Oh, yes.
Where she will have her watch party tonight. And Damon, it was so celebratory that it reminded me of the Bulls winning the championship and the parades, right? And in those years previous with the 6 championships, and just as far as the eye could see, from like Michigan Avenue, people from Chicago have been there all the way to the lakefront. I mean, to the lake where people were, and the most emotional picture that's still in my mind is Reverend Jesse Jackson with tears coming down his face, because of what this moment meant. Mm-hmm. And I think that's will be expressed by a lot of people following the victory of Kamala Harris as well.
Yeah, and we hope that the Rev was overwhelmed with emotion and pride, and not saying that's supposed to be up there.
Right. But knowing that he paved the way to get there. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But
No, I remember I was working with Rev at the time, Damon. I remember, but he was proud because I did his radio show on Sundays, Keep Up Alive, and I remember how proud he was the following Sunday. After I was also there the day he kind of lost it, but I was there both days, and he was mad the other day, but that day he was proud. he was proud.
I mean, everybody was, because I was at home with my son, and so this is 16 years ago. So he had to be like 16 years old, and we were sitting watching it at home. And as the results start to accumulate, and I'm like, I think he's about to win this, and I'm like, well, what are we doing in the house? We ran to the car. We parked like maybe on Cermak and walked all the way to that area, and all along the way they were just people jumping and dancing in the streets and yelling, and I couldn't believe it. And so we got down there, and the family had already been out, but we knew that I knew the headquarters for the campaign was inside the Chicago Hilton. So we went in there, and Biz Markie was there DJing a party. Wow. That's one of the times that my son got a chance to meet him for the first time, and I remember that he was just real laid back and funny, but playing good music. And then all of the people, the handshaking and the hugs and the euphoria, it was just amazing. Like you say, like a championship had been won.
Yeah, it was pretty powerful.
It's funny that you
and
said
the contrast from people on Cermak, politicians, it was a different type of celebration.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
It was like a line of demarcation, if you will.
You won this, and then fantastic achievements.
Right. That's funny. Have you guys had a chance to think about your expression of the day? How do you feel?
Yeah, it was glad it's over.
Glad it is over.
Yeah, I think before it was just glad because I was going to go past 5, so I just let me simplify it. Glad it's over. It's one of those things where I just need this. I just need it to be done. And do I want Kamala to win? Of course, I want Kamala to win, right? But I think I need this to be done.
But the process is what's so draining.
It is draining, and how many stories have we done, Sybil, on the mental health of America due to this election? Yeah, I understand it.
I do too.
Because the division that's going on in this country, the hate that's going on in this country, the threatening, all this is nuts.
Yeah,
this is beyond what look. Win or lose, I'm just glad I will never see his name on a ballot again. That's what I'm just so happy about. I'm not going to see that man's name on a ballot again. I'm just so done with him. I am so done. I understand if he wins, I have to deal with him for 4 years, but I'm just so done with having to see him on a ballot. The quicker I can get him out of my life, the better. So
Damon, you looked at Med like, don't be so sure.
I swear to God, don't say nothing about Donald Jr. being on a ballot. Do not, Damon. Don't do that.
I wasn't. That's Herschel Walker's job. The way I look at it, it's almost like, because as fast as this 4 years is gone, it might have even been better if he won last time, and then he would definitely be behind us. Like,
man,
because we would have survived the 4 years regardless of who it is. And that's the thing about this whole administration change. We as a people have thrived, survived, suffered, endured throughout all the presidencies. So it's not going to be a super life-changing event. We still on the bottom rung of the society. We still climbing up and trying to get our way up. And neither one of them are going to do nothing that's going to really be earth-shaking and groundbreaking over the next 4 years per se. But it is just to, like you say, to not have to see this dude and hear him and think about him, be concerned about him. Even though he's such an egomaniac that if he doesn't win, he might try to stick around and try to run again. Yeah. I mean, since he's still eligible.
But he'll be 82, and by that time, I don't think he'll be able to put his pants on alone.
We're talking about Donald Trump. That don't mean he won't try.
Okay.
And let's get
all
that
we need to do is have breath. All we need
let's
to
get
do is have breath.
episode by him now. That would be great. But my first would be concerned, apprehensive, relieved, stressed.
Okay, that's fair.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
'Cause
Yolanda, do we have people who are responding?
Because real quick,
Yeah.
Sybil, I'm looking at this 23-3, and I know it's early. That 23-3 shouldn't mean nothing to me, but god dang it, it's freaking me out. You know what I'm saying?
Don't let it freak you out.
Right. It's so early. That 23-3 don't mean nothing.
No,
but seeing him up 23-3 bothers the hell out of me.
Michelle Lynn Sumrall is not bothered. She's on Facebook. She says she's anxiously optimistic. I am anxiously optimistic. Renita Bland on Facebook, excited and anxious. We need one more word from you, Renita. Pamela Sullivan, headache, anxious, proud, and tired. Yeah, that's a lot of that. I think we can all agree with these. Bree W on YouTube, said, I feel optimistic, proud, hopeful, and enthusiastic. So optimistic, proud, hopeful, and enthusiastic. Sonia Maples on YouTube, optimistic, proud, anxious, and tired. That's a lot of fatigue. Yeah, there's a lot of fatigue here. Gwen Webb on Facebook, optimistic, encouraged, excited, and anxious. And Med has spoken to that, how, both with the mental health stories that we've had and how people are dealing with this. And Ward White, Yolanda's husband, called me today and asked me how I was feeling. At that point, I was really tired. I got up. It was my normal Tuesday, so I'm up early to do some, and I did an extra radio hit and stuff. And I was watching, and I was just kind of swirling around, and I was really tired. Well, how are you going to handle tonight? What are you going to do? What's your routine going to be? Is it going to be popcorn and wine? And I said, I don't think alcohol is going to be the answer for me tonight. I need something to relax me. Maybe I'll take one of my gummies, but I don't want to lose, complete consciousness. Because I want to be, on top of it, but it's just Gwen, optimistic, encouraged, excited, and anxious. That anxiety plays a part for all of us. Yeah. Barbara Ferguson, I feel good and overwhelmed. Manuel Murphy on Facebook, I'm feeling anxious, encouraged, excited, and thankful. Thankful that it's over, Manuel, I wonder. Janice Eatman on Facebook, cautiously optimistic, tired of commercials. Yes.
You know who's tired of commercials? Charlemagne the God and DJ Envy. I know they tired of seeing their face. In that MAGA commercial.
Yeah.
That'd be running heavy during the weekends.
Okay. Shirley Ann Tony Davis on Facebook, gotta go to bed early.
That's the thing. I'm thinking about binge watching Lioness and then just checking back in about 5 episodes to see what the numbers are.
How is that?
It is great.
Is it? Okay, I was gonna start the first season.
Saldana, right? Is that what Saldana?
Yeah.
And
Kingstown, I've been watching that too.
Oh right, yeah, that's a good one.
Yellowstone, because I keep hearing about it.
That's coming back.
I know, but it's been around. I haven't watched it. I wonder if anybody's watched it.
No, that's good. That's good.
What is that?
Yellowstone.
Oh, I started it, and
it's like the White Hour.
Because then it was different books and chapters and stuff.
Yeah. I never got into the other ones, but I got into the one with Kevin Costner, and I was like, I'm like, man, these white folk getting it in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Back in the old days.
This is in the current days in Montana and these ranches. I never did the old day stuff.
Oh, okay.
I just did the current day one, and I was like, this is like it's like watching an episode of Power, but with white folks and cattle.
White power.
Yolanda, we got about another minute. Do we have any other 4 or 5 word responses? How are you feeling today on election day? Michael Stallworth, I'm cautiously optimistic. Thank you, Michael, on Facebook. And Ivy Lee on Facebook, great, optimistic, and hopeful. Feeling great, optimistic, and hopeful. Good for you. Emmanuel Murphy. Janice, don't forget the text for donations. You won't miss those either, huh? I know that's right. Oh, my gosh.
Nope.
Everybody, just telling you to be careful too who you're sending your money to. Charlotte Bowen Bellamy, I'm excited, proud, and thankful, she says on Facebook. Mabel Wellborn on YouTube, I'm hopeful. I thank God political propaganda is ending. Okay, so that's a lot. I thank God political propaganda is ending. Okay. All right. Well, we get the idea.
Man, Cornell Belcher got the Frederick Douglass going. That's nice.
He does. The white. Yes. Yes.
And semi-fro.
Gwen Webb says no more text and commercials. That's it. Gwen says that on Facebook. And C. Walker, prayerful, hopeful, waiting to exhale. All right. There you go. Sonia Hall on YouTube, proud, optimistic, hopeful, grateful, and peaceful. Okay. I'm glad people are feeling a certain amount of peace.
I think because he's been so unhinged lately.
Yeah.
We're like, maybe he knows something we don't.
You're not, Yolanda, can you send us a net again? Can you imagine how exhausted the MVP is? She says on Facebook. I thought the same thing, but and I finally saw her kind of, and I'm not sure if it was decompression, if it was fatigue or whatever, but she has just held an incredible pace and kept up an incredible pace during all of this. And it seemed like last night she could see the finish line. But it was she was giving her last words. I think it was in Philadelphia where I saw it, and I thought, this is it. She's I don't know if she was thinking there's no more I can do. This is it, finally. But I felt as though she was taking her foot off the gas a little bit because Donald Trump was just like.
Yeah, no, we talked to Erica Thomas today, who was former state rep down here in Georgia. And we just asked her, because she's been part of elections before. We're like, what is it? What is the final day like? And she's like, exhausted. You're tired. You're optimistic, but you're like, whew. She's like, if you look at Donald Trump, and like you said, Sybil, they did 3 cities yesterday.
Yeah,
did 3 cities. Boom, boom, boom. They're flying everywhere. They're exhausted,
and that's every day.
the last 2 or 3 days, they've done 3 cities a day.
Yeah.
Travel, the speeches, everything,
the contact with people and all of that. Yeah.
And I checked it with my man Jeff Jackson. He's talking about the selfies, all the pictures. You got hug, you talk to everybody.
Right.
It's exhausting. They're like you said, they're at the finish line. They're just in there at headquarters right now. They're doing their watch party. They're watching. They're anxious, and it's just like, we're done.
Yep.
We've completed the race. Let's see what happens. And it's just like it's exhausting how we all feel. But just think about it. It's for them. It's time to
for them. It's a personal toll. Let's move to trending topics and talk about things that are going on. Damon, you're talking about where all the great places you've been getting into in your past. Where are you going this next week?
Actually, I'm home for a while. This weekend, though, I'm doing the Ameristar Casino Friday and the Golden Fellowship Dinner for the Chicago Urban League Gala.
Is it that time?
Yes, I've been brought back as host because last year, I don't know what happened, but they figured it out. It's a lot different. It's a tough crowd. You got it. And if they don't respect you and if you don't know how to control them, then they start yammering and you lose the room. So I don't think that's what happened, but I'm glad to be back for that. My next travel won't be until the end of the month after Thanksgiving weekend with the Funny Bone in Virginia Beach. But here at home, I'm actually acting as an artist relations person for my son's album because I've been trying to get him on the airwaves. So he's being played locally on Soul 106. He has a new album out. It's called In Process. Damon A. Williams. People, just go on YouTube or wherever you listen to streaming music and hit one of his songs, especially YouTube because we can see those. And one of them is a house track and it's catching traction around the city. So that's what I'm on right now. Getting through this election, letting this dog out to keep scratching the window behind me.
Well, cool. More than 80 million people voted early, and about the same number expected
Say hello.
in person today. Hello, sweet pop. Oh, look at the little Shih Tzu. Oh, feed me.
Got you.
The election was expected to be razor close and come down to the top 7 battleground states: Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, and Arizona. But we also have to keep in mind that every vote counts. So if you are still standing in line and your voting place has closed, but you were in line before the final minute, stay in line. If you are able to listen to us or somebody call somebody who's in line, say, don't get out of that line. The first, the very first, Med, even before we went on the air, the very first presidential results came in after the tiny New Hampshire town held its famed midnight vote. And this used to crack J. Anthony Brown up when I would do this. The town is called Dixville Notch. Decades old midnight voting ceremony gives the nation an early glimpse of how New Hampshire is feeling. Their votes are tallied in the wee hours of the morning, starting after midnight. Many Americans have cast their ballots ahead of time, but voting began at Dixville Notch shortly after midnight, continuing their decades long ritual. Early voting tradition dates back to 1960 with Richard Nixon against John F. Kennedy. Not that it was a bellwether as to what would happen, because Nixon beat John F. Kennedy in that New Hampshire town. But in 2008, they delivered 15 votes to Barack Obama, 6 votes for John McCain. In 2012, they handed Obama and Mitt Romney 5 votes each, so there was a tie there. In 2016, the voters were divided. Hillary Clinton ultimately won with 4 votes. And in 2020, the town unanimously supported Joe Biden over Donald Trump. So this year, the Trump and Harris each earned 3 votes each. According to the report, 6 total registered voters in Dixville Notch, New Hampshire. Wasn't that fascinating? Or it's just fun to say. Michael Jordan has publicly denied claims that he's endorsed Republican candidate Donald Trump in this year's presidential election. Sunday, a social media user posted that the NBA icon had become the latest to endorse Donald Trump for president, which quickly went viral as thousands of ex-users either shared or commented on the post. Reactions were varied, some expressing their approval of Jordan's alleged endorsement. Others voiced their distaste over his seeming support of Donald Trump, who served in office from 2016 to 20. However, reps for Jordan released a statement refuting the efforts of those who were trying to make it seem as though Michael Jordan was endorsing Donald Trump. The reports of the 6-time NBA champion siding with Trump or any other candidate in 2024 were wrong. Everybody knows that Michael Jordan doesn't put a toe into the political waters there. So
at all.
I shoot.
Yeah.
No,
No, he
sir.
don't play that whatsoever.
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. The VP returns she is home today in the vice president's residence. And I know that she did a lot of radio hits today, call-ins. I don't think she might have just, been just chilling without having to do hair and makeup today. But she was calling into stations. But tonight she returns where it all began, watching the results from Howard. This morning on the Big Ticker Show, she said, the first office I ever ran for was freshman class representative at Howard University. And to go back tonight to Howard, my beloved alma mater, and be able to hopefully, recognize this day for what it really is really a full circle moment for me. And, if elected, I will be the first president from an HBCU. That's pretty cool, huh?
Super cool.
And the kids, I've seen.
And the benefits for the HBCUs would be great if it does win. Absolutely.
Yeah. They were saying, it's just really exciting to know that a woman who once stood where I'm standing here as a freshman, was starting her political career there on the campus of Howard, and giving all of us hope that we can do that too.
And the AKA is going to be beside themselves for at least 3 of our first years. You get the whole world going to be pink and green.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you imagine the AKA party for the inauguration?
I
That's
can
gonna be
because
the ticket. That's gonna be the ticket.
they do it big, especially here in Chicago. We have a huge contingency here, and every year on the Vineyard, uh,
Hmm.
the AKAs take over the inkwell and it becomes the pink well, and
Right.
it's every year it's gotten bigger and bigger, and they have the biggest gathering, and it's going to be amazing for anybody from a sorority of that nature and HBCU make it to that level. It's awesome.
And the D9, I just want to give a shout out to them too for all the support, the sororities and the fraternities of the historically Black fraternities and sororities, how they have come together and supported this candidacy. And the brothers from all of the fraternities, the sisters from all the fraternities, they were one. As the Frankie song, they really were one in unity for this candidate. Got to do a little weather. Tropical storm Rafael strengthened today on its path towards the Cayman Islands, Damon, and Cuba, as weather officials in the U.S. monitoring the storm for potential effects to the Gulf Coast. Tropical storm Rafael swiped Jamaica and is forecast to intensify into a hurricane near the Cayman Islands and gain more steam ahead of his expected landfall on Cuba tomorrow. Do you talk to your family, Med, when storms like this come about?
Yeah, especially my aunt, my aunt and my uncle Calvin, in Hanover, Jamaica, and every single time, oh no, we okay. It's a little rain. It's a little rain. It's nothing that we're too worried about.
We are.
Every time I go, it's no problem. There's nothing. Just a little rain. Just a little rain. Thank you, Uncle. Thank you very much.
Forecasters showing the storm could make landfall anywhere from the Texas coast to the Florida Panhandle around the weekend, according to AccuWeather. Said the highest probability of landfall along the central Louisiana coast as a tropical storm, and other possible scenarios include the storm turning west and moving over the west coast of Mexico. So making that turn and then going to Mexico. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out as we come to the end of hurricane season.
It'd be interesting to know how many people know that turn goes that way, like you did. You you got that geography all the way down. Okay, so Jamaica's here, bam, over there.
Jamaica's over here, Mexico's over here. This isn't a part of entertainment. I'm going to just close out the trending stories, but this is what makes me angry about Donald Trump and his ilk. In a court, Rudy Giuliani showed up to vote today in the Mercedes that he was ordered a couple of weeks ago to hand over to the two election workers in Georgia. In a court filing rulings, lawyers for Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss said the former Trump lawyer has yet to produce any of the valuables a judge told him to turn over. And that included the Mercedes-Benz 1980 Mercedes-Benz SL500 that once belonged to Lauren Bacall. I don't know why its heritage, or parentage or ownership means anything, but that it was once
value.
Yeah. You know how to whistle.
Repo Man should have been right there. I watched enough repo shows. Should have been right there. You know what I'm saying? And Rudy should have jumped on the hood or something like that. Like a good repo show. Should have been waiting for him.
So October 22nd, the ruling by the judge gave him a week to transfer his personal property and is yet to do it. And that really is like a big FU. Mm-hmm. I'm going to drive this to the polls and vote for my friend who I'm here because, I tried to lie. I didn't lie. I didn't try. I lied about what was going on. And I'm going to use something that now belongs to you.
Yeah, and that's just the difference between them and us, because opposed to driving it to court, it should be at his auntie's house.
In the garage.
With the windows blacked out. You know, you get the 3 payments. That's when you got to take it to a relative's house. You're 3 behind. That's when you hide your car.
That's funny. That's funny.
So
One person who did endorse Kamala Harris is most recently is 98-year-old actor and singer and dancer Dick Van Dyke.
Come on.
yeah,
Came out on YouTube, on his YouTube channel, and read some things that he read at a 1964 civil rights march in Los Angeles that Dr. King attended, but read some of the words that Rod Serling wrote and said that it felt timely and it was meant for a time such as this, and also in endorsing Kamala Harris. I think that's
right.
pretty cool. Even the old heads, like Jimmy Carter said that he hoped that he's stayed alive long enough to vote early for Kamala Harris, and now this week Dick Van Dyke is 98 and
And
voting,
still look good.
and not bad,
Yeah, look at man. Dick still hold. Hey, Dick
not
still
bad,
holding on.
not
He got
bad at
his all
all.
mental capacities together and everything like that. Dick, I was like,
Okay,
man,
He
Dick
got
Van Dyke is
younger
maybe
wife.
from our childhood
yeah,
as well.
yeah. His wife is like 30 or 40 years younger than he is.
And that's probably why he's still alive.
Dick got that chitty bang bang.
Come on now.
Chitty bang, baby. Let's go. Dick,
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chim chim.
Man,
We're gonna close
Dick Van
out
Dyke
with
was
our
a fan.
jewel. Know way too much about Dick Van Dyke cartoons and movies, I guess. Today's jewel: practicing gratitude daily is a great way to stay positive. Practicing gratitude daily is a great way to stay positive. As we close out, I want to thank you guys for all of your great help in working on this show. I appreciate it, and I look forward to us working together again. And as we take a pause in its Sybil, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate your friendship as well as your diligence to coming in and doing this on a weekly basis.
it was all love. And guess who has a birthday today? Yay!
Hey, birthday girl!
Hey,
Hey,
yeah, the look of shock and who?
and awe. What you got?
Grapes?
Grapes in the bag? That's not your birthday present, is it?
Oh gosh.
My cupcake.
Cupcakes! Yay! I love cupcakes. What flavor? Chocolate? No
The white
chocolate?
one?
The white,
The
pink,
yellow one? The yellow one?
Strawberry.
strawberry. Okay. All right, little strawberry cake. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Aloha.
All right. Love you.
Love you too. Thank you.